Jai Hind everyone. I am Vivek Kumar Pansari, Assistant Professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. From this video, we are starting Unit 3, which is related to fluid mechanics and fluid machines. So, up to now, we have studied about the solid mechanics as well as the thermodynamics part, refrigeration and air conditioning system and IC engine. So, this particular unit is related to fluid mechanics, and in our first unit we were discussing about the solid mechanics in that part. So, what basically the mechanics is? In mechanics, what we generally study? Mechanics is that branch where we study the force and its effect on any body. This body may be a solid one, this body may be a deformable one, and this body can be a fluid also. So, here we are talking about the fluid mechanics. So, we will be discussing about the substance which is fluid. So, the very first question which has to be answered here, what basically the fluid is? What is fluid? So, fluid is a substance which is capable of flowing under the action of shear force. As long as shear is there, the fluid deforms continuously. What basically it means? I will be clarifying this by discussing this. The main difference between fluid and solid is either the behavior when shear force acting on them, a certain amount of displacement is found. Now, I am clubbing both the sentence. What basically? If I consider a solid object, when it is subjected to shear force, it means the force which is parallel to the plane of application. Because of that force, what happens? This shear force causes a strain in this. This is the shearing action, and shear strain caused by shear force. But whenever we find a fluid, okay, if I consider that there exists a fluid element in between these two plates, and if this fluid element is subjected to shear force, it means a force which is parallel to its laminas, parallel to its layers, then what happens? It deforms continuously, and because of this continuous deformation, the capability of flow exists. So, this is what the main difference between fluid and solid. Whenever a shear force is applied to a solid element within the elastic limit, if the shear force is within the elastic limit, it means after removal of this force, this deformation will be recovered, this strain will be recovered. Okay. But whenever the shear force exists with the fluid element, the deformation remains with this. Deformation will be continuous. So, this is the difference between a fluid and a solid. So, now I think it is clear that fluid is that substance which is capable of flowing under the action of shear force. It means if the force which is parallel to its laminas, parallel to its layers, then in that case the shearing action will be there, and because of this shearing action the deformation will be continuous and fluid starts flowing. So, we can say fluid is that substance which has a capability of flow. And how it is different from the solid one? Because whenever a solid is subjected to that kind of force which is tangential or parallel to its laminas, so whenever the force is within the limit, it will cause the deformation, but after removal of that deforming force, again it will come back to its original position. So, fluid does not offer any resistance against shear, whereas the solid substances, exert certain amount of resistance against shear force. So, this is what the main difference between. So, a fluid deforms continuously under the application of shear force. When the top plate moves, fluid also starts moving. but fluid layer associated with a stationary plate doesn't move, and liquids and gases are both regarded as fluid. One more thing we can check here, ki if a fluid element is in between the two layers and the upper layer, the upper plate is moving, so what will happen? The fluid particles which are in contact with the stationary plate, these particles will remain stationary, these particles will remain at rest. But whenever the particles which are associated with the moving plate, because of the force F, they starts moving with the same velocity as the plate is moving. So this is what the fluid. So this is the characteristic of fluid. So now what can we conclude with this discussion? A fluid is a substance which deforms continuously or which can flow when subjected to shearing force. Again and again we are talking about shearing force. Okay, so a fluid is that substance. Upper plate will accelerate until a certain limiting velocity is reached. That's what we discussed. If a fluid element is in between a two plate arrangement, or upper plate is moving, lower plate is stationary, in that condition the fluid particles along with upper plate will accelerate until a certain limiting velocity is reached. And conversely, this definition implies the important conclusion, if a fluid is at rest, if the fluid is not moving, if the fluid is in a static condition, then obviously there will be no shearing force, there will be no flow. Okay, so this is, all forces must be perpendicular to the planes which are acting. So the static fluid exerts which type of stresses? That it is exerts normal stresses. It exerts normal. So this we can understand very well. Take an example of bottle which is filled with water. Okay, make a pinhole. Make a pinhole. As soon as you will remove the pin, the water starts flowing perpendicularly outward the wall of bottle. So that is the normal stress, that is the pressure which is coming, that's why the fluid is coming out. So that's the normal force acting on all the sides of the bottle, ठीक है ना, because of the fluid. So for the flow the shear stress will exist, but when the fluid is stationary, then the perpendicular forces, normal stresses will exist. Now for understanding the behavior of fluid, we must understand certain properties related to fluid. So any measurable characteristic of a system through which we can define the state of any substance, of any system, these are known as property. Some very commonly known properties of fluid are pressure, temperature, volume, mass. These are the commonly known properties for any fluid or any material. Other less familiar properties include viscosity, thermal conductivity, modulus of elasticity, thermal expansion coefficient, electric resistivity, and many others. So what basically the property? Property means any measurable data, any measurable quantity through which we can identify the state of any system or any substance. This is what the property. So what are the properties related to fluid? We must know what? First, we must know about the density, very common term, nothing very new. We all are studying this particular term from our school time. Okay, what basically the density? So the density of a substance is the quantity of matter contained in a unit volume of the substance. It can be expressed in three ways. So what is basically the density? Mass per unit volume. Quantity of matter means mass contained in unit volume. So mass per unit volume. This is what the density. If I am talking about the mass, then it is the mass density. It is defined as the mass of substance per unit volume. For liquids, it is generally constant because we consider incompressible liquids generally. But for gases, it depends on pressure and temperature. Yes, obviously, when the pressure and temperature is changing, obviously the intermolecular distances between the gas particle changes, so the density also changes. Okay, so this is what the mass density. For solid, it remains constant. For liquids also, it generally remains constant. It is because we generally consider the incompressible fluid. But for gases, it highly depends on pressure and temperature. Specific weight, another term, okay, denoted by gamma. It is Newton per meter cube. and the mass density, the unit of mass density is kilogram per meter cube. Okay, so mass per unit volume. Here I am talking about the weight per unit volume. So it is also known as specific gravity. It is also known as specific gravity, and it is defined as the weight per unit volume or the force exerted by gravity on that particular mass. Okay, so the force exerted by gravity upon a unit volume of the substance. Okay, it stands per unit volume. Okay, na? Per unit volume. So this is what the specific weight. Relative density, important one. When we have to compare two fluids and the behavior of two fluids, then this term is important. Relative density, it's the comparison with some standard, it's the comparison with some benchmark, and for fluid, or I can say for liquids, it can be a water. So relative density, sigma, it is defined as the ratio of mass density of a substance to some standard mass density, comparison with respect to some standard mass density, also termed as specific gravity. For solids and liquid, this standard mass density is the maximum mass density for water at atmospheric pressure. So the sigma substance, it means the mass density of substance and mass density of water. If the ratio of both is taken, then we can say it's the relative density. For water, it is 1. For mercury, it is 13.5. For paraffin oil, it is around 0.8. Then another term, that is the specific volume. Nu is the notation used for this specific volume. So it's the reciprocal of what? It's the reciprocal of mass density. So it is defined the volume occupied by per unit mass of fluid. Okay, so volume of fluid divided by mass of fluid, 1 upon rho, 1 upon rho. So reciprocal of mass density. Viscosity, the important characteristic, important property related to fluid, that is what the viscosity, what basically it is. So viscosity is that property of any fluid by virtue of which a resistance is offered in fluid flow. Resistance is offered in fluid flow. Okay, so it's the resistance offered to the movement of one layer of fluid by another adjacent layer of fluid. So as we know, where we have discussed that two plates, within these two plates a fluid is flowing, this is, and the fluid particles which are in the contact with the stationary plate, these remains stationary, and the fluid particles which are in contact with moving plate, they start moving with that velocity. So obviously there exists some velocity gradient, there exists some resistance. So that resistance, why it happens? This resistance is offered by the viscosity of the fluid. So viscosity is the resistance offered to the movement of one layer of fluid by another adjacent layer of the fluid. Viscosity is the property of a fluid due to cohesion and interaction between molecules, which offers resistance to shear deformation. Now, why there is a difference in velocity? Why there exists the resistance? It is because of the intermolecular forces. It is because of the cohesion between fluid particles. So the viscosity is the resistance which offers resistance in the fluid flow, and it is because of what? It is because of the cohesion and the interaction between molecules. Fluid with a high viscosity such as syrup deforms more slowly than a fluid with a low viscosity such as water. So sometimes we can say the thickness also, thickness of the liquid. So the high viscous fluid offers more resistance, so they deform slowly as compared to the low viscosity fluid such as water. So now I hope the viscosity term is clear. Again I am clarifying because it is the important one. Viscosity is that property of fluid due by virtue of which it offers resistance in the flow of fluid. Okay, or I can say it's the resistance offered to the movement of one layer of fluid by another adjacent layer, and the reason is the cohesion between fluid particles and the intermolecular forces. So this is the reason behind the viscosity. Here we can check the Newton's law of viscosity. What we are observing, that a fluid is flowing, the arrows are indicating the flow of fluid. Okay, this is the stationary floor. So the fluid particles which are in contact with this layer, it will remain stationary, and as we are moving away from this stationary wall, the velocity is increasing. So we are getting this type of velocity, okay, profile here. And the maximum speed, the layer of fluid which is free, the layer of fluid which is free. So obviously if there is a change in velocity, obviously velocity here and velocity here is different, okay, and if this exists between dy distance, then we can say there exists a velocity gradient which is equal to delta u upon delta y. Delta u means what? Delta u is the difference in velocity between two layers and delta y is the distance between two adjacent layers. Okay, so by this we are trying to define what? We are trying to define the Newton's law of viscosity basically. Okay, so this is clear. This is what the fluid is. This is how the fluid flow. Now here we can check. Here, okay. So the shear stress, because whenever a fluid is flowing, we say there exists shear stress, and the shear stress is what? Shear stress is force upon area. So area of the lamina, area of the layer which is in contact with the fluid, and the force exerted, and the force which causing the flow of fluid, that is F, that is F. So the shear stress which exists there, that is F upon A. Now the shear stress, this shear stress is causing what? This shear stress is causing the shear deformation, because the speed here is different, speed here is different. So what we can say? There exists a shear deformation. Now, so measure the shear deformation. How much shear deformation is occurring? Okay, so the deformation which this shear stress causes is measured by the size. And how do we measure the shear deformation? That is in terms of shear strain, and shear strain is measured in terms of theta, in terms of the angular deformation, in terms of angular deformation. So here we can check the velocity at distance y from the stationary plate is u, and the velocity at y plus dy distance is u plus du. So the difference in velocity between these two layers is du, and these two layers exist at dy distance. Okay, so this is what the clear. Now I am considering this velocity profile, as I discussed in the previous slide also. The fluid particle which is at contact with the stationary plate, the velocity is 0. At this distance, which is at y distance, okay, the velocity is u. Here the velocity is u plus du, and in this the velocity difference is du, and the difference is how much? Dy. If I consider this as a triangle, so here I am taking the triangle. In dt time, in a very small time, the upper layer is moving du into dt times du into dt. So this is what the additional distance covered by upper layer of fluid in dt time. Obviously this is moving with u velocity, this is moving with u plus du velocity, so the extra distance it is covering, that is du into dt. So that's what I have written here, du into dt, and the difference between these two layers is dy, and it causes the shear deformation theta. That's what we can check. The position of fluid is here this, and at this point y plus dy it is at this point. So du dt. Now I can calculate the shear deformation. Shear deformation is measured in terms of theta. So theta, what can I write? Tan theta equals to, I can write du upon dt upon dy. If theta is very small, then I can write this d theta equals to du into dt upon dy, and I can write d theta upon dt equals to du upon dy. This is what the shear strain rate. This is d theta upon dt. D theta is the shear strain with respect to time. With respect to time, I can say this is the rate of shear strain, and this is directly proportional to what? The deformation which is caused by shear stress can be measured by the shear strain rate. So shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain rate. So tau is directly proportional to d theta upon dt, and d theta upon dt, what can I write? I can write d theta upon dt, in place of that I can write du upon dy. So tau equal to shear stress is directly proportional to du upon dy, velocity gradient. And if I am removing the proportionality sign, then I am achieving a coefficient which is known as viscosity, coefficient of viscosity, dynamic coefficient of viscosity, mu. And this is what the Newton's law of viscosity. Shear stress is directly proportional to du upon dy. Shear stress in fluid flow is directly proportional to the velocity gradient. So this is how we can come to the that point, what basically the Newton's law of viscosity is. Coefficient of dynamic viscosity, that is mu. Okay. So from the Newton's law of viscosity, we are knowing that tau is tau equal to mu du upon dy. So mu, what can I write? Tau upon du upon dy. Tau is the shear stress which causes the flow of fluid. Du upon dy is the velocity gradient. Okay. So on that basis, we can find out what? We can find out the units of coefficient of dynamic viscosity. Okay. So the coefficient of dynamic viscosity is defined as shear force per unit area required to drag one layer of fluid with unit velocity past another layer of at unit distance away. Kinematic viscosity, another term which is also important. Kinematic viscosity, it is defined as the ratio of dynamic viscosity to mass density. Dynamic viscosity means coefficient of dynamic viscosity, mu, divided by mass density, rho. So when we will analyze the dimensional formula for this, the dimensional formula for this is coming out such as meter square per second is the unit. So in the dimensional formula of kinematic viscosity, we will not find any mass element. We will find only the elements of length and time. That's why it is known as kinematic viscosity. Okay. Why it is significant? It is significant when we measure the fluid resistance under the gravity. So when we talk about the flow of fluid either upward or downward, then we talk about the kinematic viscosity, and the unit is meter square per second in SI and centimeter square per second in CGS. So kinematic viscosity, again, mu divided by mass density. Why it is kinematic? Because it is not having any mass element, it is having element of length and time only. You can check with the dimensional formula of this. Okay. Compressibility of liquid is inverse of its bulk modulus of elasticity. Okay. Compressibility of a liquid is inverse of its bulk modulus. And we can say bulk modulus is known to us. Bulk modulus, normal stress upon volumetric strain, So in that condition, we generally talk about the change in volume and increasing change in volume. Here we are talking about the compressibility. So the volumetric strain is negative. So the compressive stress divided by volumetric strain. So K equal to dP upon minus dV upon dV. Volumetric strain I am taking negative, because the negative change in volume will occur, and compressive stress, it is generally the pressure. When I am talking about a fluid, then we talk about pressure there. So compressibility is this. Now the liquid versus gas. What is the difference between liquid and gas? A liquid is difficult to compress and often regarded as incompressible, already told to you, whereas a gas is easily to compress and usually treated as such. It changes volume with pressure. A given mass of liquid occupies a given volume and will occupy the container it is in and form a free surface if the container is of a larger volume. A gas has no fixed volume, it changes volume to expand to fill the containing vessel. It will completely fill the vessel, so no free surface is formed. So this is what the difference between liquid and gas. Well, first difference is between the compressibility, and second one is related to the free surface, or the how much volume the liquid or gas will occupy. Viscosity in gases. The molecules of gases are only weakly kept in position by molecular cohesion. Either it is a gas or it is a liquid, these are in cohesion with their other molecules. So as the temperature is increasing, as the temperature is changing, Okay, so because of the change in temperature, this cohesion force between their molecules changes. So the viscosity also changes. So the molecules of gases are weakly in position with molecular cohesion. As adjacent layer move by each other, there is a continuous exchange of molecules. Molecules of a slower layer move to faster layer, causing a drag, while the molecules moving the other way exert an acceleration force. Obviously, the layer which is moving fast, it will drag that molecules which are moving slow. Okay, so this is what happening when the gases are flowing. Mathematical consideration of this momentum exchange can lead to the Newton's law of viscosity, and this is the reason why the drag occurs there, why there is a velocity gradient. If temperature of gas increases, the momentum exchange between the layers which are moving with slow and fast speed, so momentum exchange will increase and increase the viscosity also. So because of the change in momentum exchange, the viscosity also changes. Viscosity will also change with the pressure, but under normal condition this change is negligible. So we can say the viscosity of gas changes with temperature. Whenever the temperature increase, the momentum exchange between the layers which are adjacent and moving with different speeds, so because of that momentum exchange, the viscosity also increases. Viscosity in liquid, cohesion plays an important role here also. Increasing the temperature of fluid reduces the cohesive force and increases the molecular interchange. Reducing cohesive force reduces the shear stresses, while increasing molecular interchange increases the shear stress. So in short, we can say whenever the temperature of liquid increases because of the change in intermolecular forces, the viscosity generally reduces with the liquids. High pressure can also change the viscosity of a liquid. As pressure increases, the relative movement of molecules requires more energy, hence viscosity increases. So with the change in pressure, also we feel the change in viscosity, and it increases by increasing pressure. Here we can take some examples related to this, very simple one. A plate of 0.025 mm distant from a fixed plate moves at a speed of 60 centimeter per second and requires a force 2 Newton per unit area to maintain this speed. Determine the fluid viscosity. So this is the stationary plate, this is the plate which is moving with 60 centimeter per second, and the distance between these two is 0.025 millimeter. Okay, so we are interested in finding out the viscosity of the fluid which is under this to maintain the velocity 60 centimeter per second. So the formula is known, tau equal to mu du upon dy. Tau is the shear force. For finding out the tau, what we can do, we can calculate F upon A. And F upon A is how much? F upon A is written over here. It is equal to 2 Newton per meter square. So tau is, du is how much? Du we can say the change in velocity. So from stationary to moving plate, it is the 60 centimeter per second, which we can convert into 60 meter per second, and this can be converted into meter per second. So it will be 0.60 meter per second. Then dy, the distance between moving and fixed plate, it is 0.025 millimeter. So these all the data are given that we can put in this particular formula, tau equal to mu du upon dy, and we can find out the dynamic coefficient of viscosity, which is the fluid viscosity. Okay, so this is the first relation. By putting all these, we are getting this particular 8.33 into 10 to the power minus 4. The second one, okay, calculate the dynamic viscosity. It means calculate the mu, which is used for lubrication between a square plate. So there is a square plate. The dimension of this is 0.8 into 0.8 meter square, 0.8 into 0.8 meter, and an inclined plane with an angle of 30 degree. Okay, the inclination of plate in figure. The weight of the square plate is 300 Newton. This plate, which is having the dimension of 0.8 meters into 0.8 meters, the weight of this is 300 Newton. So this 300 Newton weight is acting downward, and it slides down on an inclined plane with a uniform velocity of 0.3 meter per second. The velocity through which it is coming downward, it is 0.3 meter per second. The thickness of oil film, that is 1.5. So the thickness which we can see between the inclined plate and the moving plate is how much? 1.5. So the area is known, the angle of inclination for the plate, the weight of plate is known, the velocity is known. Okay, so these things. So now we can use the relation tau equal to mu du upon dy, tau equal to mu du, because we have to find out mu. For that we need tau, and tau is what?